Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I'm fixing to do Instagram again. I am Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Move that cable there. Okay, so I'm gonna make up for the part by just doing more weapon stuff. For some reason, my Instagram has paused. It's searching for a reconnection. But if you're on Instagram and you can hear me, just go to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. It is spelled exactly like it sounds. Keep going. You're fine. So, Instagram is still paused. It's still reconnecting. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, if you're here, if you if you were watching the tree technique or the pole technique, I owe you gratefully an apology. You can find those videos on Kung Fu Havoc number 2 in about 2 hours because I'll be posting them while I go manscaping. So, we all know that. Okay. Everything that you guys missed on live will be at Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Okay. So, I don't own the park, and our neighbors' kids are from a foreign country, and they might come back and forth through the yard now. They kind of chase me out the park. They're kids, man. I don't want to interrupt a child from having fun because I never truly got the chance to have fun as a child. As a child, every Generation Xer knows we spend more of our time being adults trying to keep ourselves out of trouble versus actually being a kid. And yeah, we drank from the water hose. But this isn't about that. I need to make up to you guys for that. So first we chat, then we fight. Or first we chat and then I teach or I show you some moves that hopefully you will learn. And you've seen this shit before, so if you don't want to be here, it's fine. Everything will be on YouTube, which is the screen below the phone that you guys can't see. And the phone has paused. So if you're from Instagram and you were watching the live at this exact moment, I lost connection with Instagram. Okay? So, here we are. I am going to do something that I need to do is teach you guys about the minor differences in martial arts. Alright? Now, every martial art has a jumping spin kick. It is named something else. Every martial art has the tornado kick. It is named something else. Every martial art has a reverse tornado kick. It is named something else. My base martial arts generally called them the same shit. Alright, now initially Wing Chun did not have a jumping spinning back kick, at least not the shit that I was taught. And Wushu did have a lot of aerial shit. You understand the conflict there? Because both of those come from China. Alright? Instagram is back. Anyway, moving on. Regardless of location of which of the big three, because most people, when they think of martial arts, they only think of China, Korea, and Japan. They don't think of Mongolia. They don't think of Laos. They don't think of Vietnam, North and South. They think more of North Korea never, where they think more of South Korea when it comes to Korea. They don't think of Indonesia. They don't think of Malaysia. I'm pretty sure I've missed a couple of countries in the process. Pakistan. They don't think, I didn't say that right either. They don't think about those places when it comes to martial arts. So, since most of my martial arts have only come from the big three, which is China, Korea, and Japan, this is where I can tell you what I know versus what I don't know. Because I also did not know that Indonesia had a martial art. I did not know that Malaysia had a martial art. I know that Thai had a martial art. So that's like the fourth of the big three because it's a side. And when I say Thai, I mean Thailand, kickboxing, not Taiwan. If Taiwan has a martial art, it's over my head. I do not know Kali and I do not know Salat. I also do not know Krav Maga. So those are the styles that I don't know. I have studied Judo. I have studied Jiu Jitsu. When it used to be a standing art, I've studied Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I suck at it, so I base on that bitch all the time because if I ever get into a Jiu Jitsu fight, I got a fighting chance. I just lost Instagram. If I get into a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu fight, I don't have a fighting chance. And I need to end I don't know what the hell's going on. If you're from Instagram, this is the video. Okay? So, I'm sorry, I lost connection on Instagram. I'm gonna take this thing to TikTok. Alright? I'm gonna attempt to take it to TikTok. What the hell, man? This might not even post, but if you're from Instagram, this is like hours later that you're probably seeing this. And it's not even posting. I don't know what the hell is going on with this thing. Okay. So, I'm discarding the media. Okay. I don't know what live insights mean. It won't let me post it. I will make an apology video to Instagram. Okay. We're going to take this bitch to live TikTok. Which probably get me banned. Oh, damn it. Come on. Alright. No template. Where's my live option? I do not have a live option for TikTok. Okay, that kind of sucks. Upload photos. No, I want to go live, man. Why can't I go live? Okay, that thing's on. Let's cancel that and see what happens. Still nothing. Oh, there we go. Nope, go back. No, mother. Okay. Let's... Come on, clear it out. I'm sorry for you if you're on Instagram and you missed this and it didn't work out. I will make a video about that. Okay, TikTok. I'm not going to be on here very long. Just long enough to finish the Instagram live that I was doing that went completely wrong. And I'm going to do a martial art demonstration on my YouTube, which is what I was filming for Instagram. So, I got a little... You guys just go to Kung Fu Avenue 2 in like 2 hours. Anyway, hi whoever just came in. This is going to be a long live. This might be 15 minutes at best. So don't get too comfortable. I'm going to talk subtle differences with martial arts as I was before the live Instagram died out. So, subtle differences with martial arts is really simple. Alright, depending on who teaches you what, most Kung Fu starts, boom, you punch on impact is when you close, and most karate you already start with your hands closed. Alright, so knowing that, and this is lopsided as hell. Again, I'm only going to say this because the facts kind of speak for themselves. How you were taught is what you learn. So if you weren't taught that, like for Kung Fu, if you get in, like, say you go Mantis and then you strike and you turn it into a punch, if you weren't taught that, you're not taught wrong, you just wasn't taught that. I prefer, if I'm going to stay in Mantis, I'm not going to turn to a fist. I'm going to keep it in Mantis, and I'm going to thrust, and I'm going to thrust, okay? I'm not going to throw it into a fist, alright? Same thing with crane. If I go crane and I block, it's going to strike. It's supposed to block and strike into a fist. That's because of habit, but most cranes, it's a block and it's a strike. Same thing with the snake. It's a block and it's a strike. And everybody's going to teach you something different no matter where you go. All martial arts evolve and they change as they go. There is no such thing as superior martial arts. There are only superior martial artists in said martial arts. Alright? That may have just confused the fuck out of you, but it's like, alright, like the people who hold their foot up and angle it when they kick, that's more of a Taekwondo thing than a Kung Fu thing. But some people incorporate that into the other one. So if I'm, boom, I just keep my foot straight. Because in a fight, you do not have time to worry if it's got that perfect blade hook. You know, this is the blade where it's down, where I just go like that. because this takes a lot of focus with that blade. And if I'm not doing a Taekwondo round where I'm only going to hit you with the top part of my foot, this part, not the instep, but the whole base of my foot, the top, like the back of my hand. If I'm not going to hit you with that part of my foot, then I don't have to worry about my side kick and it being bladed. All right? Now, I was told it was called a bladed foot. Someone can correct that. I know a lot of people from martial arts will correct that. But again, as I said before, how you were taught and what you were taught it's called is what you remember it as. All right? Like, for instance, this is a reverse tornado kick. If you took Kempo, they probably tell you that it was a reverse hurricane kick. Because this is a tornado kick. It is also a hurricane kick. Okay? Do not ask me why. I don't fucking know. I was just going with what the teacher taught me. Tornado kick, hurricane kick. Same goddamn kick. As I was saying, depending on what martial art you're taking, all martial arts have similar strikes and punches and kicks that are related. Now, the few exceptions are your Shaolin animal styles. Like if you're taking Tiger or Dragon, they're pretty much the same. If you're taking Mantis or Eagle, they're pretty much the same. If you're taking Crane and Snake, they're pretty much the same. But when you turn it into a punch from impact, it depends on if you were taught that when you go here and you strike, you turn, which is old school Kung Fu. If you can remember to do that shit while you have someone throwing punches at you, you're Jesus. I can't remember that shit. So if I go into Tiger, or if I go into Dragon, when it's time for me to throw a punch, it's going to be a punch. It's not going to be, I'm going to cruise through and punch, or if I'm going to Tiger Strike, which is punch and then scrape, so it's up and then down. I don't remember that shit. Because the heat of the battle, shit changes in the blink of an eye. If I'm getting punched at, I'm going to be throwing blocks. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to throw Thai blocks, for Thai fighting. But those aren't just Thai blocks. You can use those in capoeira. You can use those in Kung Fu. Because there is a part with a standing mantis. Standing crane. Because, Karate Kid's crane kick. So, standing mantis is pretty much the same fucking thing. So, you have to understand how these things work. All martial arts have similar moves, they just have different freaking names. And again, how you were taught, how it was explained to you, is how you're going to teach others. It does not mean you are wrong. It just means you weren't taught the way other people were taught. Gatorade's Thursday for that deep down body thirst. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Now, a lot of people are taught blocks. Boom, boom, boom. Now, for me, with Wing Chun, this is a block. So, if I miss here and you throw a punch, that's what this is for. So, boom, I can block and I can get back. Where, if I'm doing karate, I'm blocking this way and I'm countering. Alright? Where, if I'm doing Kung Fu, this block is the next step. This is my central line. And they're throwing a jab, whether it be a right jab or a left jab. This is to protect my fucking head. So, if they throw that jab, boom, I can block that shit if this misses. If I'm throwing a strike and it goes in, like, let's say I'm going snake, got to open up the mouth. So I'm going snake. This is not a true snake position. Because usually you're down here. Alright? And again, before anybody from Martial Talk jumps down my throat, if you were taught down here, you're not wrong. That's just what you were taught. But if you were taught up here, it would be more like a Wing Chun based and snake combo. Or crane combo. Remember, the snake's open, the crane is shut. Alright? So if I throw a strike from the crane position, or if I throw a strike from the snake position, I'm going to turn that shit into a punch. However, when you are in a real fight, you are not going to break down into Tiger, Dragon, Mantis, Crane, Snake. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that shit. You're going to keep that shit real. Now, if you're doing Wing Chun, it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to be in a southpaw stance, which is what you're seeing me. This is my right, this is my left, right leg. If you're doing a Gung Fu and Wing Chun combo, you're going to still be in a southpaw stance. Low, strike, low, strike, low kick. Now, as you can see, my guard is at the ready. My hand is ready. Low kick, strike. Low kick, block. Low kick, me kick. Because most Gung Fu kicks stop around here. And most Gung Fu is below the knee. Wing Chun, some of the same. Sometimes it goes higher. And it really depends on who's teaching you. Alright? Always remember, who's teaching you what is what you're going to learn. It's what you're going to remember. It's what you'll probably teach others. Now, before I go any further with that into what you teach other things, you are going to adapt that style so it works for you. And in doing that, you will teach an adapted or redacted form of that martial art, which your student, your legacy, will now do the same. But they're going to find a way to make it work for them. They're going to get it simpler and simpler and simpler so that it is almost completely fail-proof. The only problem is, what's fail-proof for them isn't going to be fail-proof for you. It's not going to be, go away, I'm filming. It's not going to be fail-proof for everyone else. Go get the ball. Just don't go in front of the camera. Go that way.
This way?
You getting that ball right there?
Yes.
Watch your step, because I don't know where the doo-doo is at. There's some out here. I only cleaned up the 2 over there. I also like tea, in case anybody wants to endorse me. FYI, this is not Gold Peak tea in this bottle. It's actually homemade Lipton. Okay, we got that out of the way, and my little nephew's gone. Alright, so certain kicks will teach you, like, alright, you have this front kick, boom, side kick, or side kick, boom, front kick. Alright? So a lot of Kung Fu has that because it's more direct. Where when you are taught like a front kick in karate, boom, put it back, boom, and this is the karate I was taught. Doesn't mean you were taught the same shit. But if you were taught the karate I was taught, it's always front kick, step back, other front kick. Okay? And you see my guard stayed right there in the tight position so that if someone throws a kick, I can block it and keep from getting kicked in the ribs and keep from getting kicked in the liver. So front kick, boom, block, boom, block. You understand? So you have to understand how this shit works. Now if you notice those blocks, boom, they come down. They are also Thai boxing fighting for the kickboxers. Boom, boom. Now it's the same block, it's just different because of the angle in which I have to stand. So boom, I got a block, boom, I got a block. You understand? You have to understand how adaptation works. So most fighting styles have the same kind of movements, same exact kicks and punches, just different names. You learn that as you go. Alright? Now I also say, 1, be very adaptable. 2, be very, very, very well-rounded. If someone is about to do capoeira, my counter is Drunken Master. I don't have the hip anymore to match your capoeira with capoeira. Also depends on the Jenga. If they're doing a deep Jenga, which is like advanced, versus my little adapted version. So, I can still protect myself. I just can't out Jenga you. And when I know that you're going to do some tricky handstand kick, I'm going to fuck your shit up. Okay? Because when you go for the backflip handstand kick, you're throwing your hands back as you're throwing your feet up. I just got to avoid your feet long enough, boom, to drive that shit into the back of your neck. Why the back of your neck? Easier way to collapse your fucking spine. I'm going to snap your neck because I want to end this fight swiftly. I'm old. I can't play. So, understand how that shit works. Now, again, my counter to fucking capoeira is Chinese drunken master. There is also a drunken monkey. I'm not doing that. I am not gonna spring around and look like a fucking monkey for y'all. That's not gonna happen. But you can Google it. There are some practitioners of that style. It's not for me at my age and my hips. Not gonna happen. But you know, I can do drunken master because I don't have to go deep squats. Deep squats hurt my hips, so I can't do that. I have to adapt. So I can do these, and I can do this while you're doing this. And when you go for that backflip kick, and I sweep in and kick you in the fucking back of your head or your neck, you're going to sleep. Before I continue, please do not attempt anything that you see tonight. Secondly, before I continue, adaptation is the key to any fight. You need to have the ability to adapt. And you need to be able to adapt on the fucking fly. Like in the blink of an eye, you need to adapt, because if you're going against somebody who's a little bit faster than you or a hell of a lot stronger than you, you're going to run into some problems. Sorry about that. My alarm went off. One more thing. As a true martial artist, everything in your hand has become a weapon or an extension of your skill set. If you do not know how to fight with everything in your hand, keep practicing. That's the only thing. I'm not going to cut you down. I'm not going to hurt you or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you to keep practicing. I had to show my nephew and do some tricks with bottles yesterday. I showed them to the sternum. I'm probably going to get banned for this, but I showed them to the sternum with a Gatorade bottle versus a regular Aquafina bottle, because those are crushable. These aren't as crushable. They're more durable. So if you poke somebody, in the sternum, you're going to shut them down. You poke them in the throat, you're going to shut them down. Cluck them upside the head, probably going to piss them off, but if you hit them in that goddamn throat, I promise you, you're going to shut them down. A person who cannot breathe can't hurt you. A person who can't stand can still mess you up. So you need to understand how martial arts work. Now, I have to change my kicks because of my hip. So my inside to outside crescent kicks, especially my left leg, don't feel as good as the outside to inside crescent kicks, which is why when I do a lot of bound fighting, I prefer to do outside to inside, but you can only use them depending on the situation that unfolds. Like if your door is over there, then you don't want to use that kick because you're my opponent. Boom! I put you between me and my door. If I'm not a good fighter and you don't get knocked out from that kick, I pissed you off, and now I have to engage. And if you missed what I said before I said I pissed you off, I said I'm not a good fighter. So if I'm not a good fighter and I put you between me and my door, I just shot myself in the foot, and I'm going to be in deep shit. Alright? Now, if my door is over this way, and you're here, I need to send you this way, which is exactly why that first kick, the outside to inside, boom, will work. Because then I can turn this way, or I can pop and go this way, and I'll be at the door. If the door is over here and you're coming and my only option is a front inside to outside crescent kick, which is this, then I'm sending you over there and I'm going over there. If that's not available because you're too close for that kick, a front kick which bends you down, boom, follow up with the knee. Understand that all martial arts have related moves, they just have different names. Also understand that you need to be able to adapt. You need to know where you are so that you can have an escape plan. You have to have your escape plan set in your head. Remember, if your door's over here, this is not the way you want to send your enemy. Accidents happen, so if you have to engage, it's because you fucked up. Okay? I'm sorry if I've offended anybody with that, but it's the truth. If the door's over there and you hit him with this outside to inside crescent kick, sending him towards the door that's your only escape, you've clearly fucked up. This is the kick. Boom! Now I gotta engage this bastard, because if I don't knock him out, he's gonna get up. He's gonna get pissed off. If he goes down from that kick, I'm gonna run over top of him. I'm not gonna wait for him to get up, I'm just gonna run over top of him. But if he doesn't go down and he just goes to the side and he's like, okay, I see what you got. Now I gotta engage this dude. And if I'm not a good fighter, I'm the one with the problem. You have to understand your fighting skills. And this is why I tell everybody, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack from people on Martial Talk, and I say, hey, if you don't like the truth, don't come at me because I'm gonna give it to you. One, you have a black belt, which means in a dojo somewhere, you passed a lot of tests. Understand that shit. In a dojo somewhere, you passed a lot of tests. My question to you is, out here, how much of it was utilized? All right? And I say that because I have a rule and nobody likes it. And I don't really give a flying crap if you don't, because I'm going to tell the truth. Sorry about the background noise. 70-30. 70% of what you learn in the dojo will only work in the dojo. 30% of what you learned in the dojo will keep your ass alive out here. And you're probably thinking, why is it that way? Okay, 20% of the people that go to take martial arts generally take it for exercise. 45 or so take it because they want the brotherhood. A bulk of people take it so that they can learn how to fight, but pray that they never have to fight. All right? I fall into that category. Except for the problem was, I didn't take it to pray that I didn't have to fight. I took it so that I could fight, because my uncles were making me fight as a child. So from the age of 6 to 12, everything that I learned between the age of 7 to 12 saved me in a lot of street fights. All right? Which goes back to 70-30. Because everything I learned before I turned 15 and started taking Taekwondo, never had a kata, never had a form, never broke a brick, never broke a board. When I started taking Taekwondo, we started doing Tosan. I'm going to do a really fucked up rendition of that. So we start here, ice cream scoop, punch, block, punch, ice cream scoop, punch, block, ice cream scoop, punch, and block. See, I totally fucked that up. But I had to do that to get a yellow belt. I never got that yellow belt. But every time we had sparring, God rest Master Innocent's soul, nobody could fuck with me. Because I actually went home, trained more, and I have been fighting. Like literally fighting. I lived in a bad neighborhood. But when I was younger, I didn't have a say in the matter. Uncles picked me up after schoolwork is done. Hey, you're going to fight this kid down the street. You're going to fight this kid around the block. You're going to fight this kid. Now, back then, Generation X, we did some crazy shit. I didn't get a say in it because my dad lived in another city, 3 hours away. He didn't know the shit was happening. And I was winning, so I wasn't mad, you know. And it was an addiction. So you had to be careful. But a lot of martial artists, they go off into UFCs and shit. They didn't take martial arts to get belts. They took martial arts to become champions. I didn't take a martial art to become a champion. I thought about it. I tried to get into the UFC, but I'm small. Not just in weight, but in height. And by the time I got to where they had considered lightweight champions, my hip was fucked up. So, yeah. There's no way in hell at 49 now that I could ever get into a sporting event where I could get physical. Because this hip's fixed. The Army's not going to pay to fix it again. They are going to pay to fix this, but I'm trying to hold off until I'm 60, which gives me a little over 11 years to go since I just turned 49. So you have to understand how your body works. You have to understand how things work. And you also have to understand that fighting in the dojo and sparring, great. Not the same outside of the dojo. Not the same in a UFC or a wrestling ring. It's not the same. Because when you're in a wrestling ring or a UFC or in a street fight, getting hit is for real. Getting hit fucking sucks. And if you can't take a hit, you're going to fuck around and find out when you think, oh, I got a black belt. I'm a bad motherfucker. Uh-huh. You're going to be a bad motherfucker from the horizontal position. Because if you've never been in a fight, but you've only been sparring in dojos and competition where there are rules, you're going to have a problem when you come across somebody who has been in dojos and competitions, but also goes and does underground fighting. Because they're going to beat your ass. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack from martial art talk on that, and that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, am I lying? Am I fucking lying? Because you and I all know that one person that's a black belt. and just think that they're hard as shit. You just haven't come across that person who does not have a black belt, but has been fighting since they was like 5, 6 goddamn years old. They also haven't come across some of these prodigies, and please don't take this as racist. If they come across an Asian prodigy that can probably beat you with one hand in their pocket at like 14, they were beyond belt level. You know? Now, in America, I'm going to say this, I'm going to honor Rob from McDonald's Life. A lot of people do just hand out belts just to get people in the door. They do. And they also charge your arm and the leg. I don't have a problem with them charging your arm and the leg as long as what you teach me will work when I walk out that door. Now, there's 2 parts to that. If you're teaching me shit and it will work, the only way it's going to work is if I practice that shit. If I spend an hour at your dojo, but I don't go home and do shit, and I wait until the next time I have class. So class is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I show up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't get in any trouble when I go home, but I don't practice. Eventually, when I stumble into trouble, I'm going to get fucked up. You know why? Because I did not practice. I did not train. It's 2 sides of the same coin, yo. You train in the dojo, you train out the dojo. And anybody tells you you don't train out the dojo, don't go to their school anymore. I'm sorry. You never stop training. And again, Martial Talk can come at me if they want. You never stop training. I'm not talking like you train every hour on the hour, but you never stop training. If you have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you better put that work in on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. Because if you don't, you're going to fuck up. Because you didn't train. You only go to the dojo and train there. No. If you're going to be a martial artist, training, eat it, breathe it, sleep it. Take it from a motherfucker that didn't know. No. I have sparred with plenty of black belts and I have won. But they're black belts. I have fought some people who were black belts and I have beat their ass too. So again, 70-30. You have to understand how this shit works. Again, 30% of what you're going to do in a real fight is simply a fucking jab and a front kick. A jab and a side kick. A jab and a round kick. You're not doing this shit. That's movie shit. Don't get caught up in that shit. You're not doing this shit. Now, you're going to contradict me. I know what's coming. So I'll go ahead and say it for you. Yes, I have seen pull that in Taekwondo competitions. I have. I've literally watched them on YouTube, watched them on the Olympics. And sometimes it works. Some of the people get really lucky because they pull a Hail Mary. Also, the guy on the other side, the one eating the kick, doesn't expect that to come out of nowhere. You see where we're going? Probably also wasn't practicing. One of the major rules that they teach you in martial arts is to always expect the unexpected. The second rule is always fucking block. Even if you can't get a full block, you block. You know? And a lot of people, when y'all come to these schools, they don't tell you that shit. Cha-ching. Fuck around and find out. Because that 70-30 rule, if I'm teaching you, applies to me, applies to you, applies to Jesus. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, you get a dojo, they teach you the basics first, right? After you learn the basics, you really don't need that fancy shit. Unless you are going to be a movie star or actor like me, you are never going to fucking use that shit in a fight. You go into tournaments, you can pull it. I can't promise you you're going to connect. I can promise you might connect with that mat if you miss. I've seen it pulled in the UFC. I've seen what happens when they miss. So having that kick is great, but being able to use that kick is a whole nother ball game. Because you can have a whole lot of shit in your arsenal. 9 times out of 10, the question is, can you get it off before the other guy picks you off? You know, if you're fighting an ace and he doesn't do anything but basic shit. He blocks basic, he punches basic, he throws kicks basic. He's probably going to whoop your ass. Now you got to take other things into factor. How much does he weigh? How much do you weigh? How good is his cardio? How good is your cardio? What do you put in and out of your body? He's good. If you have those things down packed to where you are in peak healthy condition, not like my old ass, then you're going to be okay. But at that same time, you have to understand that there's always that possibility of missing a kick. There's always that possibility of missing that punch. And if you miss that punch or that kick at a critical point in the fight, when you could have just kept that shit basic, boom, 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 instead of boom, boom, ah, you know, if you miss that, or they duck it, boom, and they catch you in the nether regions, well, I told you, you might not get the chance to pull that shit out here. In tournament fighting and stuff, demonstrations, yeah, because it's fun. If you ever sit at a wushu demonstration and are bored, you're probably on drugs, all right? Or you just don't like martial arts. There's always that. But I promise you, if you had a wushu competition, go Google some wushu videos. I promise you it'll be the most phenomenal shit you've ever seen. But you can fight with wushu. This is not just all the high flying part. Alright? You can fight with wushu. You just can't fight with the high flying part. And you damn sure can fight with the majestic spear. Because wushu, unfortunately, as much as is my favorite martial art and one that I have studied, it has become a showman's martial art. So that kind of sucks. Anybody who does wushu, please don't come at me. You know I'm telling you the fucking truth. You know there's money to be made in wushu tournaments. There's, as long as you're awesome like those two Asian girls, or awesome like that dude with the Mulan class sword, or the terracotta warrior sword, or even the broadsword, or the butterfly sabers. If you're as good as those guys, there's money to be made in those tournaments. However, you're not going to walk around all day with a majestic spear. You're not going to walk all day with butterfly sabers. You're not going to walk all day with kamas, and you're definitely not going to walk around with the fucking terracotta sword. You're not going to do that. But if you go to a wushu tournament and you compete, it's a different ball game. It's a whole different environment. It's not the same as Taekwondo, because 9 times out of 10, it's more like theatrical, where Taekwondo gets a little more physical. All right? Now, if you go to a judo tournament, judo's just messy. I'm sorry. If you haven't taken judo, you don't have to agree with me, but judo is fucking messy. Because there's a lot of locking and grabbing and gabbing by gis and seeing who can throw somebody on the goddamn ground. That's pretty much judo in a nutshell. I don't know what that is. I'm a little busy, so I'm going to have to decline that. I'm sorry. Come back in 2 minutes before I end the live. If you're doing Jiu Jitsu the way I learned it standing up, it's not messy, but it's going to be a problem if you don't have the strength to deal with that shit. If you're doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, where I will have a problem, you're going to kick my ass with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because I ain't got no goddamn ground game. You know, I mean, unless I put you in a guillotine or an armbar from the ground, those will probably be my only two go-to moves. Mostly the guillotine. Triangle, it's too easy for me to get body slammed. The armbar, depending on how big the person's arm is, it's probably too easy for me to get body slammed unless I break the fucking arm at the elbow. But at least with the guillotine, if I'm on the ground and I lock it in, I don't have to have a gable lock or any of those special shit. I just got to have it locked in where this part of my arm is under your throat. That's it. I can get you in there. All I got to do is that. And if I want to get nasty, and I will, if I want to get nasty, when I got you in the guillotine, I'm going to put my elbow in the center of your spine. Right in there. Is it against the rules? Fuck yeah. But if it's a street fight, nobody gives a shit. I have no intention of letting my fight go to the ground. I understand that shit. And to the person that I declined, I'm really sorry. I just want to get this out of the way. So, the things you have to understand about fights. You have to understand that your experience in a fight is going to be more important than any belt that you wear to hold up your pants. If you're training and you have a black belt and you've never been in a fucking actual physical contact, and I'm not talking sparring. Sparring does train you. It does teach you. But when somebody's getting serious, you need to fall on your instincts. And sometimes your power and strength ain't always going to be the thing. Especially if you've never been in a fucking fight. If you've never been in a physical altercation with the shit you've been learning. And if you haven't been training after you go to school, you're going to find out real fast how easy it is to get your ass kicked. So I want to make sure you guys are clear on that before I do anything stupid or say anything stupid that you're not going to like. The fact of the matter is your fighting experience is the most important thing in a fight. If you've never really been in a fight, you have a chance of beating anybody's ass. Don't get it twisted. However, the flip side of that is you also have the ability of getting your ass kicked. So you have to understand there's two sides to that coin. Now there is a third side. If you can hold them off or fight to a draw, that's something that can also happen. It's rarely rare, depending on your experience, which goes back to what I said. Your fighting experience is everything. It is everything. You can brag, yeah, I got a black belt, and still get your ass beat by a white belt in a different style. You might be a black belt in Taekwondo and not have no game when it comes to the ground, and you go against a BJJ guy who's a purple belt or a blue belt. I don't know what their first starting belts are, because in the Army we didn't have belts. We just learned how to crawl over top of each other, and I got thrown up a lot. But, you know, if whatever their starting belt is, it might be a white belt like everything else. If you're a black belt in Taekwondo and you get on the ground and going against this Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guy and you don't have no ground game, your black belt doesn't mean shit. Also, gi or no gi, and some Jiu Jitsu, well, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu more, they use their belts as weapons to hold your ass in place. So you kind of want to think about that shit because you have a black belt. Now again, I'm going to get a lot of flack at this from martial talk, but here's the thing. I'm 49. My experience and your experience is totally different. It's just that simple. And again, to people who's coming up, that's doing martial arts, you need to know this shit because nobody else is telling you. So I'm going to tell you real fucking quick. Just because you have a belt does not make you a champion unless you actually have a championship belt. But if you have a black belt or a red belt or a brown belt, green, yellow, orange, whatever the fucking rank is, all the way back down to white, that does not make you a great fighter. It just means you can do katas. It also means you can break bricks and boards. And you were able to do it without breaking your fucking hand, which is a miracle in itself. Or your foot, because your hands and your feet are the easiest bones in the human body to break. I'm sure nobody's going to teach you that. So I'm going to make sure I clarify. When you throw a punch, if you watched my live Instagram, I always tell people if you throw a punch, you don't put all your power into it. You can put a little weight into it, but you don't put all your power into it, because if you hit somebody who has a glass jaw, they're going to sleep, regardless of the power you put. But if you hit somebody who has a steel chin, boom, you know, you might break your hand. You don't ever put all your power into your punches. Now, before I end the live, I would greatly let that other guy come back in that I denied. But also, I just want to say, if you don't know how to throw a punch properly, you want to tag out, you want to tag light. You don't want to put everything in there until you have worn the other person down a little bit. Because how hard you hit someone can really do damage to you, especially if you're bare knuckling. If you're bare knuckling, you're asking for a broken hand. Your hand is the easiest part of your body to break. Understand that shit. I was also taught, before I end with this dumb shit, I was also taught when somebody throws a jab, I was taught a 2-knuckle strike, boom. You have to be damn lucky to pull that shit off. So if I boom on your jab and I crack that hand, I got to be two things. The first thing is I got to be damn lucky. The second thing is I got to be damn skillful to crack your fucking hand with my knuckle strike. Now, again, people teach shit differently. Some people don't teach you knuckle strikes. Some people don't teach you this is a block, but it's also a strike, because this is Kempo. But I changed it from that to like a knuckle strike from Kung Fu to, you know, just that. Now, a lot of knuckle strikes, you know, let me put it here so that this camera as well can get it. Boom, you know, boom. Because you're building up your knuckles. There's only so much that your hands can take before they break. I don't ever recommend you breaking your hand. I've sprained my hand, I have bruised my hand, but I've never broken it. Now I gotta find some fucking wood. Where's that spider? You know, you have to be careful when fighting. You have to be. Especially if you're one of those people who don't have strong bones. I'm not saying that you have weak bones. I'm not saying you have brolic syndrome or shit. I'm just saying if you don't have strong bones and you hit the guy wrong, you know, your hand's fucked. And you don't want to have your hand fucked when you're in a fight. Alright? I understand that shit. Because if we're fighting, boom, and I break my hand, but I don't hurt you, I'm not going to be able to use this hand effectively anymore. Didn't say I couldn't use it, I said I couldn't use it effectively. All right? So if I jab and I break my hand, while I'm doing this, I'm pretty sure you're going to hit me. And you see my guard is across my chest? It's not a proper guard. But it's going to be a proper guard when boom, and I'm breaking, I'm doing one of these numbers. If you decide to lay a mighty right into my chest, my arm's going to stop that thing. But from where it's at, if you're strong enough, this kick could break this arm. Now, this arm is broken and this hand is broken. I'm in deep shit. I still have my feet. I can still block, but I'm going to be in some pain. You don't want to be in pain when you're in a fight. All right? Now, let's negate the fact that adrenaline is going to fix a little bit of that. But when the fight's over, I promise you, when that adrenaline dump happens, if this arm is broken and this hand is broken, you're going to fucking know it. So you want to end that shit swiftly. But you also need to understand that when it comes to a fight, this part's going to piss off people. So I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to say I'm sorry. When it comes to a fight, it's not how hard you hit. It is where you hit. Now, everybody who knows Kempo will probably agree with that. Most people who know Kung Fu, Gung Fu, Wing Chun will probably agree with that. People who know Taekwondo, they might not agree with that. People who know karate, they might not agree with that. People who know kickboxing, they're going to tell me to go fuck myself. But it also depends on what style of kickboxing. Are you doing American kickboxing, or are you doing straight up Thai fighting from Thailand? Not Taiwan, Thailand. Bok Thai fighting. If you're doing one of those, yeah, you're probably going to tell me to go fuck myself. Because a lot of those guys take beatings before they ever get into the ring. And sometimes it takes hours of mental discipline and physical discipline. So that being said, you have to be well-rounded when it comes to fighting. If you don't know, you should probably ask somebody. But I will tell you this one more time. If you're training Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, if you can't get but 10 minutes in on Tuesday and Thursday, get it in there. And again, if you're only taking martial arts for health reasons, you're not taking martial arts for fighting and stuff, please don't take anything I said in this live or my video that's below, like, to heart. Just do your martial art for what you're doing it for yourself, not to impress girls, not to impress guys. You want to get brothers in the art, do that. But be honest with yourself at why you're taking it, because if you're going to take it and think you're going to jump out here in the real world and be able to beat everybody's ass, no. You're going to find out real hard that that is not an option, especially if you're only training 3 days a week. Now, when I was younger, I got to train more. I had the energy. Life didn't get in the way. And if it wasn't for all the lies I've been told before I got to this point, I would have had a dojo years ago. The problem is, I was told, and we're done with everything else, I was told I had to have a 5th degree black belt to open up my own school. I was told I had to have a 1st degree black belt to teach in anybody else's school. I recently acquired the fact that that was bullshit, and I owe that thanks to Rob from McDojo Life. All my fucking life, I never pursued opening up a dojo because I couldn't do katas. And most of the time when it came to katas, y'all just saw me fuck up Tosan. Might have actually been Tungu, but it doesn't really matter because I couldn't do the shit. I have a different mindset than most people, and that's something that you also have to understand. When it comes to fighting, I accelerate in the fighting aspect. I do not accelerate in the kata aspect. So like crane, block, strike, I'm going to accelerate. But crane, tap, this thing, I don't remember how that shit goes. But I know I can't do it. Now, if you tell me we're going to fight, and I get into this position right here, then I'm good.
What are you doing?
You mind your business. Go away.
Where's the sign?
He went that way. Go back that way.
Left side.
Sorry about that. If I'm going to get into a fight, I know there's 3 possibilities. Win, lose, draw. I'm going for the draw. I'm praying for the win. I don't want to lose. Now, we got to take on into consideration, who am I fighting? How serious is this fight? If it's going to be a real fight, no, I'm going for the win. If we're sparring or we're just playing, I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I tap because it's not a real fight. And so I'm good there. Where go that way,
I need that ball.
come back around the chair and go get it. Keep going. This chair, go there. You're right there. He's trying to get that ball. I don't know why y'all need two balls. One of them is flat, I think, and y'all better watch y'all steps. I apologize. You can't really yell at children the way you want to on live camera and shit. Plus, he's 3, I think. He's not mine. I don't know how old he is. But anyway, if you're going to get in a real fight, you have one mission. You're not going to like what I have to say, but you have one mission. You need to survive that shit. Period. If you are not really good at fighting, you need to survive that shit. So you may have to take that loss, but you got to learn how to protect yourself. If you're in the fetal position or if you're on your back, you need to learn how to do that. Now, here's where shit gets complicated for me. If I'm fighting somebody, I want them to be bigger than me. The reason is because they're not going to expect me to win. They're going to think I'm weak. They're going to come at me with everything they got. And they're going to fuck up. And I'm going to survive that shit. And I'm going to hurt them really, really bad. Understand that situation that I am 5'3" and a half. I have been picked on by big people all my life. And they've never come back for rematches. Because I fucked their shit up. Now, guys my size or whatever, I don't really want to have to deal with them. Because that's a fucking problem. It's a problem and a half. And I ain't trying to have that. Because I don't like to work that hard. Fighting somebody bigger than me, I can use my natural speed. I don't have any strength. I can't outmuscle them. I can't outpower them. But I can outsmart them. And then my final thing on this whole fighting thing. Fight your fight. Do not try to fight their fight. That goes back to trying to outmuscle, outpower, outspeed their ass. I got natural speed. I don't have a lot of strength. But I have enough knowledge that if you're 6'2" or whatever and you're throwing a punch at me, it's only going to hurt if I'm still there when you throw the punch. If you're throwing a jab and I put up the block, you throw a kick and I'm blocking, boom, So this is a block high and low because you might one of those shits. And I need to be able to block and protect at the same time. So block and then I can counter, which would be more karate versus kung fu. But if you throw boom, break, boom, and you don't get the chance to use your foot, I just broke your arm at the elbow, which means this isn't going to function very well. Now, when I break your arm, for those who can't see, I'm pulling the wrist and I'm pushing the elbow. So I'm on this side, I'm on his outside. Pulling the wrist, pushing the elbow. I'm either going to go rib or I'm going to go throat. I'm not going for your face. Fuck that shit. Sometimes hitting people in the face only pisses them off. But if I hit you in your throat, if I hit you in your solar plexus, I got a better shot of surviving that fight and breaking your arm versus trying to hit you in your face. If you don't have a glass jaw, I might break my hand. But if I break your arm, boom, boom, and I strike you in the throat, it's a done deal. You can't breathe, you can't hurt me. You can't stand, you can still grab me and get me on the ground. You get me on the ground, you crawl over top of me and start dropping those bones, I got a problem. I might be able to block a couple of them, but how long can I block for before you get in? How long can I block for before you realize, hey, he's protecting his front. All of this shit is open. So when I'm blocking this, you might come around with the left. You're already straddling on top of me. So if I'm blocking your right and you're coming down and this is wide open, boom, boom, you're going for the ribs. And over here, if you're using your left hand, you're going for a liver, you're going for a kidney, you're going for something that can hurt me really fucking badly. So therefore, if I'm blocking this and not being able to go back and forth while I'm blocking, if I'm protecting both ways, if I'm on the ground on my back, it's going to be a bit difficult for me to do that if you're straddled across my stomach and you're trying to pound down on my face. So covering up, you're going to have to learn how to survive. Again, 70-30. Hey, how are you, Sandra? I'm about to end the live. I hope that I taught you guys something. I'm losing light. That's the only reason why I'm ending the live. I normally do this at night with my shows, but I mean my lights. But I have to do some manscaping, so I wanted to get it in early because I've also been having a really shitty day and I got a fuck ton of reading to do because I'm doing a project on the Black Panther Party. So y'all know where my weekend's gonna be. I'll be in that room reading all this shit and then coming up with some typing shit. But thank you for having me. I gotta go make an apology on Instagram, and then that'll be that. Thank you guys for watching. Be seeing you. And where are you? Okay.